breaking news while we were live. I'm just seeing this myself. I'm still processing this because I do see both sides of this, what we're going to be at, but I'm so fascinated to get Jody's reaction to this as well, Jody.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
So we got a chat from, who is it? From, thank you from Credit Where It's Due.
Yeah, gotta give that credit where it's due. Shout out to him.
Bweezy Bird. Thank you, Bweezy Bird, for alerting me to this because, wow, this is big news. So, Jody, let's react to this together. Oscar shakeup, Best Picture eligibility standards, strict new diversity requirements take full effect in 2024. But going straight to it, in order to qualify for Best Picture, to achieve Standard A, one lead or significant supporting actors must be from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group. Asian, Hispanic, Latinx, Black, African American, Indigenous, Middle Eastern, North African, Native Hawaiian, or Pacific Islander, other represented race or ethnicity. General ensemble, at least 30% of all actors in secondary and more minor roles are from at least two of the following underrepresented groups: women, racial or ethnic groups, LGBTQ+, plus people with cognitive or physical disabilities who are deaf or hard of hearing. Main storyline or subject matter. The main storyline, theme, or narrative of the film is centered on an unrepresented group: women, racial, ethnic group, LGBTQ+, people with cognitive physical disabilities.
No way.
This is now a
Make
new
sure that's
rule.
for best. You're sure that's for Best Picture?
So let's.
You kind of skim through it.
So here. I'll
Sure, that's not for a certain award of diversity. I don't think that's Best
In its
Picture.
most dramatic swing towards true diversity, Oscars laying out significant requirements in order to be eligible for Hollywood's most sought-after prize, Best Picture. Having at least one Asian or lead is a requirement now. Hold on, that's what I'm trying to look. So you must fall into. This is a seismic act. So I can't tell if you have to fall into one of these groups or all of these groups. The standards are designed to encourage equitable representation on and off screen in order to better reflect the diversity of the movie-going audience. Academy governors heated task force to develop the standards that were created from a template inspired by the British Film Institute diversity standards. The aperture must widen to reflect our diverse global population in both the creation of motion pictures and the audiences who connect with them. We believe these inclusion standards will be a catalyst for long-lasting, essential change in our industry. None of this affects the current eligibility year, which is due or the next Oscar set beginning confidential Academy Inclusion Standards form will be required for Best Picture in consideration, though meeting the actual inclusion thresholds will not be required for Best Picture eligibility until the 2024 Oscars. These standards apply only to Best Picture and do not affect other categories, which will stick to their current eligibility requirements. However, films in the specific specialty categories of animated film, documentary, international that are also submitted will thus be addressed separately. So anyway, yes, Standard A, you must receive one of these standards. The fact that a lead must be in there, or your general ensemble cast, or the main storyline. Standard B, the film must meet one of these criteria. At least one or two of the following creative leadership positions. I guess you got to be in all of them. You must have a creative leader and department heads, casting directors, cinematographers, composers, costume designers, directors, editors from the following underrepresented groups. At least one of these positions must belong to the following same rules. Other key roles, at least 6 other crew, team, technical positions, including production assistants from underrepresented racial or ethnic groups.
Excluding.
Overall crew composition. And then standard to achieve Standard C, you must meet both criteria: paid apprenticeship and internship opportunities. The film's distribution or financing company has paid apprenticeships or internships that are from the following underrepresented groups. The major studios distributors are required to have substantive ongoing paid apprenticeships, training opportunities and skills. Standard D, audience development, representation in marketing, publicity, and distribution. What does that have to do with the Best Picture? Studio and film must have multiple in-house senior executives from the following underrepresented groups. So there you go, Jody. Anyway, needless to say, this is getting a lot of reactions online. It's both sides of the coin, with a lot of people saying, bravo, this is finally, and then a lot of people saying, are you kidding me? Would you ask Picasso to tell him what kind of painting to make? And so this is wild, Jody. What do you think?
I think that this is I'm 70-30 on this. It's only for people who are. So we have to understand that this is only for people who are trying to go for the best picture. So I see a lot of movies being made from the beginning with the idea that they're going for best picture, because then they're going to cast accordingly. If which is 85% of Hollywood movies released are not best picture uh uh type of films. So we're not going to see a drastic change. But when it comes to those serious best picture contenders, that's when this is going to hit. And I'll be honest here, man, this is terrible for creativity. This is terrible for creativity, bro. Like, it's not about what the sex of the person is. It's not about the color of the person. It's about the art. It's about who's better at it. I do not care if he's black, if he is white, if he is Asian, if he is straight or gay. I hear some coming in.
These Oscar rules are crazy. So historical biopics set in Europe can never to get Best Picture now? Question mark, exclamation mark. This just disqualifies two winners, Braveheart and Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah, well, I mean, just to clarify, just so we're on the same understanding, you have to meet half of these eligibility requirements. So all three, A, B, and C, you have to at least meet half of them. So I suppose if you made a film where the roles are all white, you'd have to then meet all of the other requirements to make sure that you get in, like a lot of them, so to ensure you beat A. So you'd have to have your crew and marketing team be, I guess, what is it, 30% or whatever it is, diverse. But anyway, yeah.
I don't care.
David's
I don't
correct.
care about the color, who they have sex with, where they're from. If you are the best at it, I'm casting you. If you are the best at it, you deserve the job. It's as simple as that. Now I understand that maybe Hollywood is filled with so many white people that a lot of them are the best because there's so many of them in there. So you need to interject some color in there. I understand that part. And that's where the 30% of where I come from comes in. The Oscars does need to work on diversity. And I feel like we were already doing that. Our society was already going there. The Oscars was already going woke. They were already doing that. And it was already becoming that. This putting these actual rules down, it doubles and triples and quadruples down. It's too harsh. It's too strict. It's too bold of a move, and it's not in the right intent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't buy the Oscars. They're doing this because their ratings suck. They're doing this because fewer and fewer people were watching it. Fewer and fewer people were talking about it. They're only doing it because people were boycotting it. Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, Oscars are woke, Oscars are white. They were getting so much negative press that's why they're actually making this move. I don't feel like this is intent. This is not how they truly feel. This is pandering. I don't like it. I understand that they're trying to make a change and it's trying to let new people in the door. I'm cool with that, just not like this. It was already getting to the point where the Oscars was going to be full of diversity, because look at our society. The Oscars represents the society that it lives in. Everything does. We were already going there. To make these rules is overkill. And I feel it kills creativity. And I feel like we're going to get some whacker movies now, because I have to cast a black director. If all the other check boxes are checked, except, oh, God dang, the director's the wrong color. Well, we got to get a black one. Well, can we change the production? No, we already signed into a contract. Freak. Excuse me. Do you have any ancestors that were from Africa or anything? That's ridiculous.
Well, yeah,
what is going on?
It's like, you can't be, and it's like, if
people are gonna cheat.
If I say anything against this, Jody, I will be deemed a racist, right? It's like I will be deemed like I don't support these things. But where I have the problem of this is like, the Oscars was the problem, right? The Oscars is the award organization that requires the Oscars. If the Oscars want to be more diverse, then put a requirement of like, okay, two of the movies must be from these groups, right? But by making all movies change, it's almost like they're trying to make up for what they did wrong, where it's like now they're like forcing movies to now fill quotas. Like, and let's be honest, and let's be real about it. There are going to be production companies who are going to go through these rules and say, okay, make sure you hire 5 black interns and production assistants. Asian, whatever, doesn't matter. We just have to meet the quotas. And it's like, is that really better? Is that really what we want to be doing? I don't know. It's just that it seems like a slippery slope here. It's like, of course, we need better representation. But like you said, I feel like they were making strides to get there. And I feel like they've been nominating better movies. And like they make a point to like include other, groups in its decision-making process. But to put out a broad like, hey, Hollywood, meet these guidelines or you now can't be nominated. I'm still a little shocked. There are going to be a lot of problems with this. As I'm looking online, like some people are already jumping in it, but like Best Picture movies, which now under these rules couldn't be considered: Hurt Locker, Departed, Lord of the Rings, Gladiator, Braveheart, Godfather 2, The Sting, The French Connection. I mean, it keeps going. It's like a lot of movies, classic great movies now would not be considered because they weren't doing it. Now, it's depressing to look at all those things and say, man, it's all white people, right? I get it. But
you know what they could have done? They could have put a rule out. Let's use logic here. It's logical if they put a rule out that I think everybody would agree with. You cannot make an ethnic movie without that ethnic actor playing the role. For instance, Exodus, Gods and Kings, he played Moses. What was his name? Joel Edgerton played Moses, that white man? Nah. Get somebody if you're making a movie about black people, don't cast a white man to play a black man. If you're making a movie about Asian culture, don't cast a white guy to play the lead. It only makes common sense. If you did rules like that, I could understand that. Don't cast a colored man to play a Scottish rebel. Don't cast a colored man to play William Wallace. You know what I'm saying? You've got to keep it accordingly. Like you wouldn't cast someone who's not of the right race to play an activist of any sort. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep it with the common sense. I'm cool with that. Everything else is just nonsense to me, bro. It's nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna have problems because it's like, I do really understand and agree with, like, we need to make changes in Hollywood. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, we have to do that. But,
both of them.
But the Oscars, are they the entity to sort of make this rule because they couldn't nominate more films of color? Like, it just feels like, right, it's like, hey, well, you know what? It's not our fault. It's Hollywood's fault. So we're going to make Hollywood do it. Ha! It's weird. And for art, to make art, that's where things get complicated to me of like.
The studios were already doing this, Andy. We were already going there. Studios were making certain amount of movies of color every year. So we were already going to get something like this. This is just overkill.
Right.
They're putting cuffs on us.
Well, and you're going to get it. You're going to get the white man getting very angry of like, well, now I can't even get in this. Now I'm losing my job. Like, it's going to happen where you're going to just make it even more angry.
You know how many directors are going to get jobs just because they're black now?
Exactly, and it's like a lot of people are going to be out of work
they're Asian?
just because they're experienced, but because they can't now because we have to meet our quotas. It's like it's going to make a lot of people angry, and some people will say, well, good, because it's about time. But I don't know, man. This really. I understand it's with good intent, but I think they're going to look back and realize this was not the way to do it, to force it. And there's a lot of comments coming in, so I want to thank you guys for supporting. Some well thought out things here. So if I make from Justice Divine, if I make a masterpiece, God tier film that is clearly the best film of that year, but it doesn't meet these requirements, I can't even be nominated. Correct.
No.
That is now correct. David, thank you for pointing that out. He's pointing out Braveheart, Shakespeare in Love would not be eligible.
That's my all-time favorite movie, man.
I know. Arlie,
Braveheart.
I'm sorry, this is affirmative action. You fix it by putting minorities in quality roles, not forcing changes artificially. Myra, I can actually see lawsuits over this. And Benny Betts became a member. Welcome, Benny. Thank you for joining.
Shout out to Benny.
Benny and the Jets. Thank you for that. Planeteers, welcome. Put the toes up in the air for our new member, Benny. So throw some toes and some Popcorn Planet signs to support. Welcome Benny into the community. Welcome Benny. You'll be watching these on demand, and I have other cool stuff coming. So if you guys are watching this and you aren't a member, become a member. You can watch the whole stream live whenever you want, not just parcels that I put out here. But thank you for all that chat. Yeah, look. This is a complicated one. I understand some people are not going to comment on it. Some people are going to be afraid to
Now
comment
I'll say
on it.
this: the Oscars has every right to do this. If you want their award, that's their rules. So I don't think there's any lawsuits to be had here. Look, if you want our award, this is what is required. It's not like a studio is doing it. If a movie studio is doing this, then you could have some type of lawsuit. I would believe if there's something in. Oh, I got to get this many. But it's just to qualify for their award.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I've already figured how to beat the system. You literally, all the studio has to do is meet half of these standards. So literally all they have to do is create industry access opportunities. So if they create internships, we're going to get a lot of minority internships and paid apprenticeships in Hollywood, and training opportunities. That's one. If they meet C, they do that. And then all I have to do is meet D. But basically, fill up their marketing department with minorities.
You know how that's not going to work, though, Andy?
But the point is, if they do that in the studio, done deal. Is our studio clear to make any movie? Great. Our director, go do whatever you want.
It's not going to work. They're going to use social media, and they're going to say it. This movie was an A1 qualifier. This movie was an A1 and a B1, not a C or D. This is and that's how the Oscars are going to help judge it. Maybe not cognitively or maybe intentionally. This movie, a movie that is A1 top to bottom versus a movie that is D, just trying to look like they're trying to qualify, they're not going to win the award. They're not going to do it.
Yeah.
They're going to go for the movies that are actually trying to be powerhouse, significant, inclusive films, like A1 only. I bet all the Oscars from 2024 to 2030 are going to be A1ers.
Yeah,
I bet that.
Look, but I also think there's going to be studios who would try to figure out their way out of this. They're going to do whatever they can.
They'll try
to just fill up some roles and know how do we do this. Hey, studios. Oh, hey, figure this out. Go hire some internships. Make sure we got them. Make sure they qualify through the Academy Award guidelines. And you know what? Great. That'll give a lot of people some paid internships. It's not going to get them jobs, but it's going to get them some paid internships.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm cool with the disability one though. I'm cool with the disability part.
Only that one. Come on, Jody.
To be honest, yeah, bro. To be honest, we get enough of everything. I don't see enough disabled people in movies, bro. They be funny. I just seen Peanut Butter Falcon, bro. That's a good movie, man.
He's really good in that movie.
I just saw it. That's a good movie, bro. I'm down for some of that shit.
Yeah, Zach.
And
Zach
I love Of
great.
Mice and Men.
He was great. Yeah, there's it's true. It's it's hard.
Yeah,
well, it's hard to get those
with
roles.
Dustin Hoffman, with Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman.
Rain Man.
Rain Man, come on, man. I love that
real.
shit.
He was a real actor. He didn't have any actual disabilities. But the guy in
I know,
Peanut Butter Falcon did. Zach or whatever. He was a great with Shia LaBeouf.
Imagine Rain Man with a real a person who's really.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, you're right.
And stuff.
And there was supposed to be that movie where Bryan Cranston took the the role in the wheelchair.
Have you seen the movie Me Before You with Khaleesi from Game of Thrones?
No.
Why am I drawing a blank on her name right now? I know her name.
Emilia Clarke.
Emilia Clarke. It was so beautiful. It made me cry like a little punk, bro. It's a beautiful movie. Me Before You. It's a romantic comedy, real life type of Steel Magnolia feel to it, man. It's so beautiful, man. So beautiful.
I'll check it out. In the meanwhile, this is an ongoing story. I'm sure we have not heard the end of this, and I'm sure the Academy Award, there's going to be some backlash on this. This is going to create a war in Hollywood of, what are you talking about? And people are going to have to pick sides, and most people are going to just say, well, no, I support this. But a lot of directors, I bet you offline, privately, they're just not being honest to you. They are going to be pissed. There's going to be a lot of crew people who are like, wait a second, what does this mean for me? Because now I'm going to lose my job because they're going to start filling up roles with other hires. Take that as you will, but crazy late night breaking news. Lots more to come from that. Thank you for chiming in with me, Jody. We're still live. Check us out every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Go check out Jody's Corner. He's live all the time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Guys. We got more to talk about here, so if you want to see it and you didn't catch it live, become a member. In fact, thank you so much to Joe Brody, also became a member while we were going. Thank you, Joe. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back with more very soon.